Good morning, students. This is Value Education period. Today we are going to see lesson 13, The Path of Peace. The Path of Peace. Listen, children. History tells us a lot about wars. Right? History tells us a lot. In the olden days, kings tried to expand their own kingdoms by fighting with their neighboring kingdoms. Right, children? In olden days, kings are fighting with their neighboring kingdoms to expand their own kingdom. So, wars were going on most of the time. But even in the middle of the dust and noise of a battle, a peaceful voice can sometimes be heard. So, with no weapons except a noble heart, a person can change the course of history. So, based on this peaceful voice, we are going to see a small story that is, I see no money. I see no money. Two kingdoms were at war. Each saw the other as an evil enemy who had to be destroyed. Everyone want to destroy one another because they want to save our own kingdom. So there the young soldiers, in both sides, young soldiers are killed in a battle. Neither of them would give up fighting. So in both sides, both are doing fight. One evening, after a long hot day of the fighting, many soldiers from both armies lay wounded on the battlefield. Right? Many of them get wounded. So they are very tired and they get very wounded too. During those times, armies had water carriers. Water carriers means their job is they have to take fresh and cool water to the soldiers of their army to refresh them and give them a new strength. Okay. Those times they are using a water carriers. Water carriers means they have to give a fresh and cool water to the soldiers to refresh them and give them a new strength. The leader of one army sent for his fastest water carrier. His name is Kishan. Okay, his name is Kishan. The general said, quick, before the sun sets, make sure that all the wounded soldiers get fresh water to drink. The Kishan replied to the general, certainly, general, like that. And he set off as fast as he could. The general said to Kishan is, quick, before the sun sets, make sure that all the wounded soldiers get fresh water. Okay. So, the Kishan set off as fast as he could. As they watched, the leaders of both armies were shocked. And amazed to see what Kishan was doing on the battlefield. Both are very shocked, both armies were very shocked and amazed to see what Kishan was doing on the battlefield. What he did is, he was offering water to all the wounded soldiers from both armies. He gave water to both armies, even enemy army also he gave water. So, the both generals were getting very shocked. He walked carefully among the wounded men. He gently poured the water into waiting hands and mouths. He literally giving water, whatever they want, whoever they want. The water he just give them. He never consider he is the enemy or he is our own soldier. He never consider that like that. He just give water. Those who are all asking water, he just give it to them. So, the general thinking, what is he doing? He exclaimed, the army leaders both sides. Is he mad? The general think, is he mad? They could not imagine why anyone would want to help the enemies in any way. He think like that because The general thing, no one is want to help their enemies, right? So that way he was thinking. When Kishan returned with his empty water bag, he was taken straight to the general. The general asked, "Have you gone mad? Have you gone mad? Why did you give water to the enemy soldiers?" The general asked, "Have you gone mad?" The general asked to the Kishan, okay? "Have you gone mad? Why did you give water to the enemy soldiers?" The Kishan said, "Enemy? Who is the enemy, O great general?" The Kishan said to the general, "Who is the enemy?" That time, the general replied angrily, "We are at war, Kishan. We are at war. The soldiers of the other side are our enemies. The soldiers of the other side are our enemies." That time, the Kishan looked very confused and puzzled. He said, "Forgive me, great general. You instructed me to give water to everyone in need. I saw young men lying there, bleeding and thirsty and in great pain. They all needed water, and I had water in a bag to give. I saw no enemy anywhere." He said he cannot see any enemy. He just see he is a human being. He need a water. He have to give. That only he think at that time. The general asked, "You say you could see no enemy?" The general asked to him, "You say you could see no enemy?" That time he replied, "No, general. They all look the same to me, all suffering human beings." He replied like that, "No, general. They all look the same to me, all sufferings human being." Kishan's word made the general think. After some time, he called all his soldiers together. He said, "Kishan is right." The general said, "Kishan is right. This long war is bringing only misery to everyone. And a lot of young men are dying." Right? In the war, lot of young men were dying. "Let us tell our king to stop this war and sign a peace treaty with the other king." So the general think we should stop the war, okay? Because all are human beings. So the voice of peace had been heard amidst the din of war. That time we can hear one peaceful voice, right? The voice of peace. So that only stops the war. Right? Let us understand. Kishan was only concerned about helping the suffering soldiers and did not think about which army the suffering soldiers belong to. Right? He just think he is a human being only. He never think he is the enemy or our own soldiers, not at all. Like the general in the story, we too can learn a lot from Kishan's actions on the battlefield. Right? We have to learn a lot from Kishan's actions. Sometimes even friends will have arguments and quarrels. They will feel sad till they make up again because friendship needs peace. Right? Friendship needs peace when we have thoughts such as he is my enemy or I will take revenge. So we are only hurting ourselves only, right? When we have thoughts like he is my enemy or I'm going to take revenge on him, so like that, definitely that thoughts only hurt ourselves only, right? Such thoughts make us tense and may prevent us from eating and sleeping properly. That kind of thoughts make ourselves also very tensed or make us uncomfortable. So we get tired and irritable and are unable to work and study properly. Okay. By our mind makes us very tired and we get very irritating like that. By making special effort to make peace, we can lay down our burden of anger. So the only thing we have to try to make a peace over there. If we listen carefully, we can hear peace speaking to us. If we listen carefully, we can hear peace speaking to us. If we listen to the voice of peace, we can change our lives for better. The Jesus Christ said, love your enemies. Love your enemies. So everyone should love your enemies, right? It is not always easy to follow the path of peace, right? Following the path of peace is little difficult. That is only happen by practice. Okay. Sometimes we must make difficult choices. We must remember that all people make mistakes, right? We must remember most of them make mistakes and we should be forgiven. We should forgiven and no need to take any revenge and all. Right? So revenge is wrong. So we should forgive and no need to revenge. So remember one quote from Gandhi. An eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. Right? The tit for tat, the way is very wrong. So we must learn from the Mahatma Gandhi. An eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. We must be unselfish and not greedy. We must not try to grab more than our fair share of things. We must accept that different people will have different ideas and likes and dislikes. Okay, most of them have different ideas and they have different kind of persons. They have different likes and different dislikes. So we should accept with their own behaviors. So we must try to understand others and make them happy. So we cannot be happy if we make others unhappy. So we should make others happy. Okay. Today anger and hatred are everywhere around us, right? And often they turn into violence, death and destruction. So that violence lead into death and destruction like that. So that's why it is important to practice peace habits early in life. Okay, we should practice peace, right? Children, a peace-loving person does not just practice peace. Just to practice peace is not enough. He or she also spread the message of peace with his actions. Okay, he should spread his message with the peace with her actions, with his actions. So we can all be peacemakers. We can all be peacemakers by practicing peace. Okay, children. Thank you.